Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space, so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co. And be sure to tell them the Bro Country Podcast sent you in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application. Welcome back to the Bro Country Podcast. My name is Joey, and as always, I am joined by...
Hey man, it's Chris here. What's going on over the night, Joey?
Man, not much. Just hanging out. Had some dinner with the wife and the fam, so hanging out, just recording for the first time in a while. It seems like it's been forever.
It has been a minute.
Yeah, because we did the midweek episode last time when we interviewed Braden, and then I had to push this one off a little bit due to my crazy weekend schedule, so sorry to the listeners.
Yeah, when we get the interviews, sometimes we just have to do it when they can do it. So
yeah, we try to be respectful of their time. So there was no big deal at all. But
he was a good interview too. I mean, we've had some good interviews here now, man.
Yeah, we've had some awesome guests. I mean, all the way back from when Kayla came on to my buddy Jake, and then Brandon Davis, Braden Jameson, Colby Acuff. We've been fortunate, man.
We have, man. We have.
Definitely. That being said, though, it has been a while, so we've got some news out of Nashville to get caught up on for you guys.
We do.
So we'll go ahead and just kick this off here. Some exciting news. Ray Fulcher signed a deal with Black River Entertainment.
Yeah, man, this is pretty awesome. I mean, obviously, as Luke Combs fans, we've been following Ray Fulcher's career from kind of what he's done with Luke. But I mean, you know, he's recorded a lot of his own stuff. He's wrote for other artists, and you know, for him to get signed to Black River Entertainment it's a big deal. I mean, you know, Black River is probably the biggest independent in Nashville right now. Yeah. And it's got Kelsey Ballerini on there. So, I mean, that's pretty big stuff right there.
Yeah, it's huge. It's crazy that him and Drew have signed labels in the last, 3 weeks?
Yeah, right, back to back.
It's awesome. But
absolutely.
So that was cool. And then Luke Combs dropped a teaser of a new song. So it's called Growing Up and Getting Old. I think that Luke Combs 3 is on the way, my man.
Yeah, I think well, I mean, they just released Forever After All the Radio.
Yeah.
It's already up to, it doesn't impact radio for 2 more weeks, and it's already up to number 41 on the radio chart. So it's going to fly up the chart. So
insane.
I think we're going to get new Luke sooner rather than later.
Yeah. He'll be 11 for 11.
That's right, man.
Absolutely nuts, but our good buddy Colby Acuff dropped his new album back on the 15th, If I Were the Devil, which we've talked about on the show before, obviously with interviewing Colby, but it's a pretty good project for him. Definitely go check that out if you guys haven't.
It's a good one.
Yeah, there's definitely quite a few. I had to listen to it 2 or 3 times, and it's a few of them stuck with me. They're good tracks, so I'm definitely happy for him. It's doing pretty well, too, so. But Florida Georgia Line dropped an album, Life Rolls On. What were your thoughts on that one?
I need to listen to it a couple more times.
Yeah.
I have a bad problem with certain acts, and for whatever reason, Florida Georgia Line is one of them. That everything just starts sounding the same, and and it's weird because after I listen to it for a while, then certain tracks will stand out, and I'll end up loving some of them. But for whatever reason, the first CD I loved, but after the first CD, it always took me a couple listens to really get into it. So I'm going to give it another shot. I've just been listening. There's been so much new music come out. I've been listening to other stuff here recently.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff has came out, but I listened to it one time all the way through, and then I went back through and listened to a few of the other songs, and I'm not really ready to give it a official rating, but my preliminary rating is probably a solid 3.5 out of 10.
Oh.
It was rough, man. It was not very good. There was a couple that were like, okay, I dig this, but the rest were kind of like, oh, man.
Yeah, you like the current single, right? Long Live?
Yeah, I do like Long Live. That was a good one. But
Yeah.
there was, I can't even remember the titles of them off, the top of my head. But just a couple, I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy. This is
That's funny, man.
typical Florida Georgia line, though. So,
That's right. What else is going on in Nashville this week?
well, what I found was pretty cool. Cody Johnson and Reba are doing a Deer Rodeo documentary that's coming out pretty soon. You see that?
Well, I saw a trailer for it, but I don't
Yeah.
really know much about it.
They didn't give a lot of details about when it was going to be dropping or anything that I could find. Could you find anything about it?
I could not, but I know that we'll be there for it. I watch that video and listen to their duet version of Dear Radio all the time. So it's so good.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that, man. It'll be very interesting to check that out. So, guys, we have no idea when that's coming. Just stay tuned, and I'm sure we'll keep you all updated.
Absolutely.
But another pretty cool thing, made some history, Mr. Russell Dickerson with Love You Like I Used To. It was spent 21 weeks in the top 10 of country airplay, and it tied Lone Star's Amazed for most weeks spent in the top 10.
And it's pretty wild. I saw that earlier this week on Billboard, and I thought I definitely would not have predicted that. I mean, that's pretty awesome. I mean, just to stay in the top 10. I mean, songs rise up, and then usually once a song hits number one, it falls quick. And once you hit number one, most songs do not stay in the top 10 any longer than a couple weeks. So I mean, that just shows the staying power of a song like that. It's pretty cool for Russell.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't be more happy for him. And then there's some more new music that dropped over the past week or so. Carly Pierce EP 29 dropped.
Yeah, it's really good.
Very
really,
good.
Really, really good. Yeah.
Very, very good. Lainey Wilson dropped her album, Saying What I'm Thinking. And from what I've heard, it's pretty good. I haven't done a full listen through just yet.
Yeah, I've probably listened to about half of it. But the Carly EP, I think it's got 7 or 8 songs on it, and it is really, really strong.
Super solid project.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then something that just came out a little bit earlier today, Dierks Bentley announced that they are going to do a tour hopefully later this year.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's a good sign.
No big details yet, but it was definitely a tease of something to come, kind of similar to what Eric Church did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, just kind of very vague, but just know something's coming.
Yeah.
So
and
I
just
could
get everybody excited.
Yeah, I could not be more excited to hear that kind of news from anybody.
That's right, man. Which we have since the last time that we did a podcast, we've got tickets to the second Lexington Acoustic Jam at Rupp Arena coming up in March.
We do. I'm stoked, man.
John Party will be the headliner that night.
Yep, John Party. That's on March 20th. We'll be going to that, so that'll
That's
be
right.
pretty cool.
3 days before my birthday, we can celebrate my birthday.
Heck yeah, and I'll be in Nashville the week before that with the wife
right.
for her birthday. So I'm going to Nashville and then going to Lexington. So that'll be hopefully 2 good weekends back to back with some music.
Yep, things are starting to feel kind of normal.
Somewhat, yeah. Got to wear a mask and all that, but you know what? It's whatever.
That's right.
At this point, it's the new normal.
That's right. I got tickets to. We got tickets to Muscadine Bloodline in May in Charlottesville. So
did you guys get them? Oh yeah, Charlottesville. That's right.
Yeah, Charlottesville. So that'll be pretty cool.
That'll be cool for sure. I didn't know if you got the ones for Nashville that we were talking about maybe getting, but
no, the only ones that popped up were 4 together, and I was looking for just 2 together, but they had already sold out. So we'll just go to Charlottesville, and that'll be cool. It's actually pretty close to us. We can get over there in 3.5 hours.
That's not too bad.
No,
it's worth it. And then to wrap up the news out of Nashville, there was some country music drama this week between Luke Combs and Ryan Upchurch, but indirectly between them because they didn't really beef out together. Long story short, if you guys haven't heard, Luke Combs did an interview with Maren Morris, apologized for some older images of him with the Confederate flag on his guitar, and also from where he appeared in Ryan Upchurch's outlaw music video where there were Confederate flags, rebel flags everywhere. So Luke apologized and said something along the lines of how he didn't know at the time that those images could be hurtful to people. And Ryan kind of went off and was like, you shouldn't have to apologize. You didn't do anything. Just because Morgan Wallen messed up doesn't mean that the whole country community needs to come out of the woodwork and apologize. And Yeah, so that happened this week. It's been crazy, just kind of following that story, and a bunch of negative stuff all over Luke's social media, and just been crazy. So I'm interested to see if he says anything back, or if his team reaches out and says anything, because they were the ones that actually had Luke's name removed off the music video way long time ago. I mean, this is kind of old news at this point, but
Yeah, this has been around for a while.
yeah,
I think it'll die back down again, kind of like it's done in the past.
yeah, because that video was from 2015, and then the images were from around the same time. I want to say like 2015, 2016, and it pops up every once in a while, and then it dies down. So I'm sure it'll pass just like anything else.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
But yeah, so that's been some of the drama in the country music world. But yeah, now to the bulk of our episode, which we didn't even tell you guys what we were doing this week. But if you read the title, you probably have a pretty good idea. We are going to be talking about Ashley McBryde and some of her background, her career, and then a few of our favorite songs that we're going to rank as always for you guys. So
yeah, this is going to be a good one, man.
Yeah, we're super excited to get into this one because I know you and I both are pretty big Ashley fans, and she's probably a top 2 or 3 artists that my wife just loves, so we listen to Ashley quite a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, she was touring with Luke. I've seen her a couple of other times other than with Luke, and yeah, she's definitely one of, if not Lindsay's favorite right now too. So I mean, we've liked Ashley for a long time. So it's cool to see where her career has gone, and we're going to jump into that. But I mean, she's definitely near the top of my list right now.
Yeah, the first time we saw her live was when she opened up for Luke in 2018, I want to say, at a that was in up past Dayton, Ohio. Hobart Arena in Troy, Ohio. That's where it was.
Oh, that's cool.
And, yeah, she was awesome, and the wife just fell in love with her. And I mean, I'm pretty sure we'd heard some of her music before that, but we'd never seen her live. And then we saw her obviously when she opened for Luke in Lexington last year. Actually, I keep saying last year, but it was 2019. Every week I say last year, like we're still in 2020, but it feels like we still are.
Gosh, that's crazy. Yeah, the first time we saw Ashley was at a county fair here in West Virginia, and
that's cool.
There was probably 300 or 400 people there, and then we saw her open for Justin Moore at our state fair or like you said, a year and a half ago now, and that state fair probably holds 8,000 maybe, and then
nice.
when she opened for Luke, so yeah, I think we've seen her 3 times.
Nice. You know what it was? It was last year, actually. It was February 2020. So, yeah, I was right.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Gosh,
yeah.
We're so discombobulated, it's hard to keep track.
Yeah. Can't keep track of the last shows I've been to. But, yeah, it was February. It was Valentine's Day, just the one that they just live streamed from Rupp Arena. So, yeah, it was last year. I'm on the right path. I'm good.
That's right.
Pray for me, guys. My mind is scrambled. But, yeah. So
Tell us a little bit about Ashley's background there, man.
Yeah, so we'll dive into this. Credit to Ashley's Wikipedia page. Don't come at me for Wikipedia not being reliable. But yeah, I did some research. Pulled a lot of this off the Wikipedia page of Ashley's. But yeah, she was born in Waldron, Arkansas. She started playing guitar as a teenager. It was actually her father's guitar that she played. And then actually went to college after high school at Arkansas State University. And she self-released one album during that time frame. In 2007, she moved to Nashville to become a country music singer. She actually won the Country Music Showdown in 2009 and 2010, which, are you familiar with what that is?
I've heard of it. Probably don't know everything about it.
Yeah, so it's like this yearly talent contest where undiscovered country music singers from across the country come, and it's like as many as 100,000 acts compete every year, and it's considered to be the biggest country music talent competition in the United States. So she won that back-to-back in 2009 and 2010, which was pretty cool, I thought.
I did not know that. That is really cool.
Yeah. And then in 2011, she put out another independent album and began touring in the southern U.S. states with various artists. She put out an EP that was called Jalopies and Expensive Guitars in 2016.
It's so good.
It is. It is really good.
Yeah. So for independent, non-major label music, her EP there, Jalopies and Expensive Guitars, is I mean, as we'll get into here in a minute, it's got one, but maybe two or three of my favorite Ashley songs on it.
Nice. I'll be anxious to hear those. But yeah, then she was discovered by Mr. Eric Church. So then he invited her on stage to perform at one of his concerts, which is pretty badass, really.
Yeah, was that one of the? Had you seen that video before you guys saw Ashley live, or had you not seen that?
Yeah, I'd seen it.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. And then I mean, they've even got on the 61 Days of Church a Bible and a 44 recorded, which is pretty cool with Ashley and Eric at the live performance.
Yeah, I've tried to think back on like when and how we first found Ashley, but I think I was just like, deep down in an Eric Church wormhole on YouTube one night, and that clip came up. I think that was the very first time that I ever saw or heard Ashley, and then that kind of just led into other videos and listening to her and stuff. And I think that was also right around the time that her debut radio single, Little Di Bar and Dahlonega, was out. So I think all of that just kind of happened at the same time.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. I don't remember when I first heard her. I mean, I definitely saw that video before, and that might have been my introduction as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But, I didn't... This sounds crappy, but I never really thought twice about her after that, And then when she opened for Luke, and we knew she was on the ticket, obviously, and then when we saw her, we're like, holy cow, she's good. She's just awesome.
Yeah, she's absolutely.
And I mean, she'd been putting out music for a long time at that point, I mean, moved to Nashville in 2007, and this was 2018, so I'm like, man, I caught on late.
Yeah, when they they sometimes they refer to Nashville as the 10-year town. She definitely put in 10 solid years before she had her big break.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Little Di Bar and Dahlonega, that was actually named one of the 54 best songs of 2017 by the New York Times, which was pretty cool. It was one of the top 25 best country songs in 2017 by Rolling Stone. It was released via Warner Brothers Records, Nashville, and she actually signed in September of 2017 with them and released her debut album as a signed artist, Girl Going Nowhere, which was produced by Jay Joyce.
There you go. Eric's guy right there.
Yep, which is Eric's guy and a big name in Nashville.
Yep.
And that album dropped on March 30th of 2018. And I know Radioland and the title track were released as the album's second and third singles after Little Di Bar and Dahlonega. And the title track was a minor top 40 hit on Billboard Country Airplay charts in 2019.
Yeah, I think that I'll talk more about this song in a little bit, but there are certain songs in the history of country music that were not hits. And Girl Going Nowhere was not a radio hit, but there's country music is sprinkled with these songs that for whatever reason take on lives of their own, and have much larger impacts than big hit songs. I mean, you and I talk a lot about Riley Green and Grandpa's Never Die not being in a top 10 song, and that's going to go down as one of the best country songs of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And Girl Going Nowhere is very similar to that. I mean, it's it's kind of her signature song. It's kind of the story of her career, and it was not a radio hit for her, but
right.
All of Ashley's fans know that song and love that song.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites by Ashley.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
But yeah, then One Night Standards was released in September of 2019, and that was the lead single from the second studio album, Never Will. And the album was released on April 3rd of 2020.
Yeah, right when the quarantine started.
Right when it happened. So that was kind of a bummer to have the release when she probably had planned a tour and everything like that, but definitely a solid project. And then in 2019, she won CMA for Best New Artist. And then this year, she's actually nominated for a Grammy for Best Country Album with Never Will.
Yeah, that's not bad, man.
So she's had some good accolades throughout her career, and she's put out some great music. And I mean, I definitely don't think she gets the attention she deserves. You know?
No, well, she doesn't. She definitely does not get the mainstream attention that you would expect somebody to get that is as critically acclaimed as Ashley is.
Right.
But I think she is. I mean, it's easy to say that people don't care about radio and that they don't want hits because they don't need hits. I mean, everybody wants hit records. I mean, don't get me wrong. But somebody like Ashley doesn't necessarily need hit records. She's very similar to the other people that we've talked about that are not reliant on radio. And she's been able to, like you said, forge a really good career here with really one and a half radio songs. I mean, she's not really. She's only had One Night Standards was a top 10 hit, and the debut single Die Bar and Delanago was a top, I think it reached maybe 16 or 17 on the radio chart, and that's pretty much the extent of her radio run so far.
Yeah, and I mean they've got a lot of streams too. I mean, One Night Standards. I'm looking at Spotify. It's got 32,466,417 streams. And then a Little Die Bar in Dahlonega has got 21,114,900 streams. So, I mean, they've got a ton of streams.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I mean, it's kind of like, I hate to do this comparison, but it's kind of like Eric Church, doesn't have humongous radio success, but just has a cult following of fans.
Yeah,
and I
agree.
Eric obviously discovered her kind of early on-ish, and a lot of his fans really look up to her and like her and love her music as well.
Yeah, when he brought her up on stage in the clip that we were talking about, he said, "What does he say? This is my favorite artist that you don't know yet," or something along those lines.
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
That was cool. Let's see a few other notes that I've got written down here about Ashley. There's kind of two or three other things that have happened to Ashley in her career that have really gotten her name out there. Garth covered "Girl Going Nowhere" as "Guy Going Nowhere," and it's on his Triple Live album.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty big deal for Ashley. I mean, she was like still brand new to the mainstream world when Garth did that. So I'm sure that was totally out of the blue for her for Garth to want to sing that song and change it to "Guy Going Nowhere," but he does it justice. He does a good job with it.
He does, and I didn't even know he did that until the Triple Live album. I just bought it. You and I talked about a couple months ago, whenever it was released out, the latest one. Yeah. And the wife and I were just driving in the car listening to it. I didn't even read the track list or anything. I just threw it in and was listening, and that came on. We were like, "What?" Had no idea he covered that.
Yeah.
Or switched it up, covered it, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that was definitely, somebody like Ashley, if you get discovered, and your first recognition to the mainstream world is from Eric Church, and then Garth covers one of your songs, but to me, probably the number one thing that has really gotten Ashley's name out to people is her debut on the Opry when she sang "Girl Going Nowhere."
Yeah.
The video of that is, I mean, it's got millions and millions and millions of streams, and it's the Opry usually will release videos of people that are debuting on the Opry, and a song like "Girl Going Nowhere" is it's like the perfect song to sing on your debut on the Opry.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember when I saw that clip, I thought, man, she's here to stay. Like this is amazing stuff.
Most definitely, man.
Yeah.
She's, I think that, in due time that she may see a little bit more radio success, but at the end of the day, I mean, she's awesome and achieved so much already, and I mean, I can't wait to see what's next for her,
Yeah, I mean, she might not have a ton of radio success, but she's going to keep making music. The Opry has really embraced her. She's played the Opry, 40, 50 times. I'm assuming in the next couple of years, she'll get invited to be an Opry member. So she's gonna be for life. She's gonna be in the country music community. She her career so far kind of reminds me of similar careers of like Alison Krauss and Emmylou Harris and Rhonda Vincent. There's these great female vocalists in country music that did not rely on the radio and stuck around for 30, 40, 50 years and have these huge fan bases and are members of the Opry and are probably going to go in the Country Music Hall of Fame. And, she reminds me a lot of that. And kind of those careers are really built on storytelling songs and, just really, really true country music. And she's got that down pat.
Oh, dude, most definitely.
Yeah.
About as country as it gets.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, those are all the notes I really had, man. You want to go ahead and rank our top 5 Ashley songs?
Let's do it, man.
Cool, man. I'll kick it off, as always, starting number 5, going up to number 1. If you guys are new here, Chris and I always like to rank our favorite tracks by the artists that we're covering on that episode. So number 5, I've got First Thing I Reach For.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't put that at number 5, or we would have, or this would have ended up being. It's probably still going to be pretty similar. But I literally had that written down at 5, and I marked it out. That's a great song, isn't it?
Dude, it's a fun one too, but it's good. Yeah, what do you have at number 5 since you had to cross that one out?
I had Sparrow at number 5.
Ooh, that is a good one, man.
Yeah,
I love that one.
Her vocal on that one is absolutely killer.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I absolutely love that song. Number 4, though. Let's see. What did I have? I had to be kind of cliche here. I went with One Night Standards at number 4.
Oh, it's such a. It's definitely One Night Standards is definitely her most like radio friendly. Like it was a smart choice as the lead single off of the second CD because it's I think she wrote that with Shane McAnally, and it's definitely got that radio groove to it.
Oh, yeah, most definitely, man. What about you? What do you have at number 4?
I've got just an absolute tearjerker. I've got Stone at number 4.
Ooh, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah,
that is a good one.
I had it on my top 10 of 2020, and I had but still I had to put 3. There's 3 songs. There's 3 songs above it. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, you did have that in your top, didn't you?
Yep.
Jeez.
What you got at number 3 there, man?
Rounding out the top 3, I had Sparrow at number 3.
Oh, there you go.
Similar reasonings to why you ranked it in your top 5. Just a really, really good song. The vocal's amazing, and just that's one that I have listened to over and over again. And I know my wife likes that one quite a bit too. So
it's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, I really tried not to be cliche here because I love doing these countdowns, and it's so hard to not just put the ones that are obviously up there, but. Number 3, Girl Going Nowhere.
Girl Going Nowhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Absolutely. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm in my top 2. Can you guess my top 2 since usually we have the same?
Well, you have not said Girl Going Nowhere. Is it in your top 2?
Oh, no. Let's find out.
Okay.
Number 2, I've got Andy, I Can't Live Without You.
Oh, gosh. It is such a... that is a pull at your heartstrings song right there.
Yes, very, very good song.
Oh, man.
I love it. But yeah, that's what I had my number 2 at, man. What do you got?
I would not have guessed that, but that is that's an awesome song. And that's one of her favorite songs to play live.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks she wrote that about an ex-boyfriend. She wrote that about one of her best friends.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because you'd think it was about an ex-boyfriend listening to it.
Yeah, you really would. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I would say that I'm a huge Ashley fan, so all of these songs are some of my favorites that have came out in the last 5 or 6 years. Mm-hmm. But I would say that these top 2 are just absolutely 2 of my favorite songs. Dive Bar and Dahlonega. Little Dive Bar and Dahlonega. I've got it at number 2.
That's a really good one, man.
I love that song.
It's really good. I'm going to have to let you know my number 1 now, though. I think you might have guessed it. I've got Girl Going Nowhere.
Okay, what you got, man?
Girl Going Nowhere.
Oh, man.
It's just a really emotionally good song, man.
It's really what country music's about, isn't it?
Yeah, tells a story of how, basically she's been told she's not going to get where she wants to be, and she's in I'm paraphrasing, but on the stage with no empty seats and not doing bad for a girl going nowhere. So, and there was an award show, was it the ACMs in 2019 that she played that at? It was like super emotional.
Yeah. Yeah, her voice was like quivering the whole time. You could tell she was
I think her eyes were watering too a little bit. Like,
yeah,
that had to be just super emotional to be in an award show like packed out like that and be able to sing that song. That probably means a ton to her,
Absolutely, man.
But yeah, that was my number one, man. What are you rounding the number one out at?
Well, my number one Ashley song is actually a song that she recorded before she got signed.
Nice.
And I think this is kind of a new thing in country music where these people get signed and then people go back and listen to the music that they made before they got signed, and sometimes these songs become huge songs for them, and this is definitely the case for Ashley. Number one song for Ashley is Bible in a 44.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's a great song.
It's so good. I mean, it's a story about her grandpa. It's it's just talking about what she's learned from her previous generations, and she just absolutely kills the vocal on this. I think actually you were talking about somebody just covered that song, right?
Yeah, so Trisha Yearwood cut it with Patty Loveless.
It's pretty awesome.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, to think that Garth covered your song and then Trisha wanted one of your best songs to sing, that's pretty stellar right there.
Yeah, that came out in 2019, so I guess she covered it in 2019.
Yeah.
Which Ashley put it out independently. What year was that?
2016,
16.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, a few years later, and you've got, like you said, Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood covering your songs. I thought
and I mean, for people that are just familiar with, One Night Standards and Girl Going Nowhere, definitely go back and listen to that EP that came out in 2016, because it's got Luckiest SOB, it's got
that's a good one.
It's got obviously Bible in a 44, but I mean the whole thing is really, really strong.
Yeah, I thought Trisha cut that a little bit longer ago. I was off on that, but
I'd love to get my hands on those couple CDs that she made back in like 2011, 2013, because I've looked and I have no clue where to find that music at.
Oh, I've got no idea. You could probably. Are you on the Facebook group, the McBryde Tribe?
I am. I need to dig around on there and ask and see if anybody's got that old stuff, because I'd love to get my hands on it.
Drop a post, man. You may never know.
Right.
Head over to eBay.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, I had a couple honorable mentions. I just had two. I've got the one we were just talking about, Bible in a 44, because that is a really good song. And, Trisha and Patty Loveless cut a version, her and Church's live version, and then her version. I mean, they're all so good. And then I've got The Jacket as another honorable mention.
Oh my gosh, that's an awesome song.
Yeah, that one's really good, and my lovely wife, that one is sentimental to her because it reminds her of her uncle that passed away, and his jean jacket he used to always wear and stuff. So it's just a special song. It's a good one.
That's awesome, man.
What do you have, man, as your honorables?
Well, I mean, I love. It's funny. It's kind of her making fun of the cool kids in high school, but Fat and Famous. Do you know that one?
Yeah.
It's such a good song.
It is good.
That is such a good song. And then I really like, and I was shocked that it didn't take off. I really thought that this one would be the biggest radio hit from the first CD, American Scandal.
Yeah.
I love that song, and it's got a really good groove to it. And it, for whatever reason, it didn't. I really thought that was going to be a hit for her.
Yeah, but I'm surprised it wasn't.
I mean, really, I like pretty much everything she's put out. She's one of those. The newer record took a little bit longer for me to grow on me, but now that I've listened to it, first thing I reach for is Stone, One Night Standards, Sparrow, Martha Divine. I mean, they're all killer.
Yeah, most definitely, man.
Yeah, she might be my favorite female that's making country music right now.
She's definitely one of my favorites. Man, right now, female in country music, I'd probably have to go Carly Pearce, man.
Yeah.
Like current artist, anyway.
She's coming on really strong.
She's crushing it, man. I mean, her music is so good, and I mean, I don't know. The EP she just put out was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Actually, I'm going to listen to it a little bit more. Maybe next week or the following week we can talk about it a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, I did 2 listens so far, and it's so far. I won't give my preliminary rating. We'll save that for we'll save that for next week. But yeah, that's all I've really got on Ashley McBryde, man. You got any other notes you want to go over, or any other songs you want to throw out?
I think we're good.
Cool. Well, guys, we've got some other exciting news coming up. We actually have a guest that is scheduled to come on the show this coming week, Mr. Jace Hine. He's a multi-platinum songwriter out of Nashville. He's wrote for Jason Aldean, Brantley Gilbert, and countless other artists. So we've got him slated to come on for next week's episode. We're really excited to have him on and see the perspective of a songwriter in Nashville. And we did make a Spotify playlist, so I will link that below in the description of this episode if you guys want to check that out. Some of the stuff that we've been listening to lately and some of our favorite music. And then if you guys are feeling froggy and want to leave us a voice message, you can do that as well. I'll link that below. Let us know any content that you guys love to hear about, that you don't like to hear about, or anything that you guys would want to hear about on a future episode, and we would definitely consider that for future content. But I think that's going to wrap this one up, man. Anything else to finish it off?
I think we're good, man.
All right, guys. Well, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Go check us out on social media, Bro Country Pod on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Bro Country Podcast. Until next time, keep it country and take care of each other.